Hi, Book Medical Lifelong Learners. Today I'm going to talk about 7 books that were life-changing for me in terms of books about learning and books about reading. And I believe that these books will also be life changers for you in the way that you learn and that you read. They're very powerful in that sense. That way, you can learn exactly how to actually apply the knowledge, how to soak in the knowledge, how to remember the knowledge that you read. So, I will leave links down below. If you want to check out the details about how to purchase the book, about what the book is about, like read the reviews and stuff like that, then go down into the description and check out those links. Definitely subscribe to the channel. Let's get straight into the video and talk about these 7 books. All right, so I'm not going to talk too much in detail about each of these books. I will just introduce them to you, why I like them, and maybe why you should get them. That way you know the benefits of them and whether you actually want to check them out or not. So the very first book here is a classic book from the 1930s. It's How to Read a Book. I know the title is kind of funny because, well, we take that for granted or whatever. Like, we all know how to read. Most of us know how to read, but actually how to dig into the details of reading, how to read intelligently, as the book says here. So really, this dives down deep into each of the aspects of reading. It talks about some reading tips. It talks about a whole lot of great details about like what you should do for each section, even about sometimes like when you should like skip a book or something, right? So this book is an amazing book. You should definitely check it out. All right, and the second book here, it's very interesting because you find a lot of books about speed reading. This one is about slow reading, the art of slow reading. I personally am a very analytical reader. Whenever I'm reading a book that's completely new to me or has a whole lot of information in it that I can actually try to apply in my life, I take these tips and apply them in my life. So maybe a book, it might take me, oh yeah, and by the way, this is by Thomas Newkirk. So reading for me, a book that takes me quite a while, I might only be reading like 20 pages per hour, maybe even less sometimes. So yeah, and then a book that the topic is a whole lot easier for me, like something that maybe I've reviewed before, I read it a whole lot faster. It could be 100 pages per hour. It could be 150 pages per hour. It really depends on the topic of the book. But the art of slow reading, I think, is really important to understand and be able to analyze what you read. That way you can understand it a whole lot better. Oftentimes we look for speed. A lot of people look for speed, which in reality, we should be looking for retention and understanding and actually how to apply the knowledge in our life. So that one is well worthy of your time to check out. The next book, this is one that I fell in love with. It's probably one of my favorite books, as well as How to Read a Book by Mortimer Alder. It's one of my favorite books here about, this actually is about academic writing, but it also includes a whole lot of reading tips. I'll read the subtitle here. How to take smart notes. One simple technique to boost your writing, learning, and thinking for students, academics, and nonfiction book writers. Now, don't let this title and subtitle fool you. You can take these tips. If you are, let's say, running your own business, you can take these tips and apply them in your life. Apply them to make your business run better because it helps you in the way that you think, that you process information. It makes reading a little bit more time consuming because you're taking the ideas from the book and you're elaborating on those ideas with your own thoughts, writing them down, whether that's in an app called Rome Research or RemNote, or maybe you're just using your notebook. But yeah, the idea here is to expand on those ideas and connect ideas together. That way you can, have idea synthesis. And that's why I say it's really good for business owners. It's good for academics, as I was saying, for writers. Anyone could use these tips to apply in their life to connect ideas together, which makes us all a better person if we are able to do that. So it's highly recommended book. It's by Sönke Ahrens. It's spelled S-O with the 2 dots above, K-N-K-E. I'll just include all the links down below so you can check that out. Okay, and the next book here is Reading in the Brain by Stanislas Dehaene. So this book, it wasn't as impressive as I thought it was going to be. I still included it on this list because I felt like it was really interesting. It's the new science of how we read. So it helps you to understand how your brain processes the letters from childhood to adulthood. And we have this thing inside our brain called the letter box. Like, I learned a whole lot of sciencey things about how we read. So it doesn't really give you a whole lot of practical tips about how to read better. So it's not necessarily one of those books that's going to help you learn better, but it helps you to understand how you learn. It helps you understand how you process the language. And that's why I keep it on this list, because it was very, very interesting in that factor. And the next book we have here is How We Learn: The New Science of Education and the Brain by the same author as the last book. Now, this is one of my favorite books along the lines of how to read a book and how to take smart notes. You notice they all start with how. I love books that explain how to do something. So yeah, this one was really good because it actually gives you some structures and some frameworks to work with to how to, build and learn even better. So it's absolutely amazing book to check out. The other book that I wanted to mention here is Limitless by Jim Kwik. Now, I actually prefer this book over Limitless by Jim Kwik. Because it actually gives you the science behind how we learn. It talks about spaced repetition. It talks about memory. It talks about all those things that Jim Kwik's book talks about, but it goes into more depth. And it actually explains how our brain processes the information. So it's not giving you like just the top layer, like Limitless. Limitless is just giving you the top layer. If you want to go deeper, you got to go into science, like this one right here. So, I'm not saying that Limitless is a bad book. There's not really such a thing as a bad book, so to say. Just like Jim Kwik says, there's not such a thing as a bad reader. So it's not that the Jim Kwik book is bad or anything. It's very good for someone who is just starting to learn about how to learn. Someone who is just starting to learn how to read better, like read analytically beyond just being able to read the words on the page, right? How to understand it better. So this one definitely beats Limitless because it goes deeper into the science of how we learn, and it gives you pretty much everything that Jim Kwik's book gave you, right? It's written in more of a scientific way, so it may not be as fun to read without like some of those stories like about the superheroes and stuff like that. That's all entertaining and actually does help you to remember. So yeah, that's just my explanation of why I think How We Learn is better than Limitless. But if you are just beginning your journey of lifelong learning, then Limitless is a good book to check out. The next book that I wanted to include here is actually not necessarily about learning better. It's actually about teaching learning. I did learn a whole lot from this book. It's called Leveraged Learning: How the Disruption of Education Helps Lifelong Learners and Experts with Something to Teach by Dehaene. Now, I would have loved to hear more how from this book compared to what. Like, he explains what's the problem with the education system and how online learning is going to disrupt the education system, basically. So it gives you like an introduction of what you could do to build an online course, an online business based around education or based around the skills that you want to teach people. So I included this one in the list because, well, yeah, maybe you out there, experts out there, people with really good skills out there want to teach their skills to other people. That would be a good book to check out. Okay, and I have a bonus here. Now, this one is one that I haven't read yet, but I will be reading next. This is next on my list. So it will show up somewhere in a video or in a picture on Instagram. It's called Learn, Improve, Master by Nick Velasquez. And yeah, I mean, I skimmed through this book and it covers a lot about how we learn and how to actually implement what you learn. It's what I call the SPAR framework, the study, plan, action, reflect, repeat. So we're learning, we're improving, we're mastering, and we're continuing the cycle. So this is probably going to be a pretty good book. The subtitle here is How to Develop Any Skill and Excel at It. So I'm excited to dive into this one coming up soon. So I will also include a link down below about this one. So that concludes our list of books today. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you pick up some of these books so that you can become a better learner, a better reader, and a better action taker. So I will see you in next week's video. Take care. Thanks for watching, everyone. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe for more videos like these. Also follow my other social media accounts such as Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter for more valuable content. Thank you for watching again, and I will see you guys next time.